So I used to be a big people pleaser, right? I used to live my life and I would sort of allow my life to revolve around the opinions of other people. But what's also on the other side of being a people pleaser is that your self worth, your self perception is never truly your own. And what I mean by that is how you feel about yourself, the way you feel about your life, is never truly determined by you. It always revolves around the opinions of other people, right? So if one day someone was to compliment you and say nice things about you, so on and so forth, for a short period of time, you would actually begin to feel good about yourself. But on the other hand, if someone was to criticize you, or if someone was to say something bad about you would also begin to feel bad about yourself. So, with being a people pleaser, how you feel about yourself is constantly being swayed by the opinions of other people, right? And that's truthfully how I lived much of my earlier life, right? And I remember I got to a point in my life in which, I became fed up. I was tired of living my life surrounding, or I should say, living my life in reference to the opinions of others. But not only that, I was tired of constantly allowing people to dictate how I feel about myself, right? And sometimes you gotta get to that point in which you become fed up, in which you become tired, in order for you to change. And that is the point I found myself a few years ago, right? And there was this shift that I made, this mental shift, and any sort of change has to be mental first. Any sort of change has to be a mental shift first. But there was this mental shift that I made that not only allowed me to reclaim my self-worth, but allowed me to stop living my life around the opinions of other people, right? And the shift that I made was that I began to know myself outside of the opinions of other people. I began to know myself outside the opinions of my family, opinions of my friends, opinions of my coworkers. I began to truly know who I was. What I also did was I began to choose a self perspective of my own. I began to choose how I wanted to see myself. And I began to choose who I wanted to be. And I became convicted in my own self perception. I became convicted in how I wanted to see myself and in who I wanted to be. And because I became convicted in my own self perception and in who I wanted to be, I was no longer swayed by the opinions of other people. I was no longer living my life revolving or around the opinions of other people because I chose a perspective of my own and I decided who I wanted to be, right? And see, a big reason why a lot of us, A big reason why a lot of you watching this, or all of you watching this, a big reason why you're constantly being swayed by the opinions of others is because you have not chosen who you want to be. You have not chosen a perspective of your own. But not only that, you don't know who you are, right? And because you don't know who you are and you have not decided who you want to be, you're constantly looking to the world to tell you who you need to be. And you're constantly looking to the world to dictate how you feel about yourself, right? So, to get to the point in which you reclaim your self worth and you allow yourself to stop living your life surrounding or revolving the opinions of other people, is that you have to know yourself and you have to decide who you want to be and you have to decide how you want to see yourself. You have to decide how you want to show up in your life. And you have to become convicted in your own self perception. You have to become so convicted to the point in which the opinions of other people don't move you off your own square and off who you decide to be, right? That is how convicted you have to be in order for you to regain your self worth and stop living your life for other people, right? See, this is how convicted you sort of have to be in your own self perception and in who you are, right? If someone was to come up to me, right? Let's say a random person came up to me and the person said, "Hey, bro, I don't think you're black. I think you're white." Right? Let's just say to humor me, to for argument's sake, let's just say that's what the person came up to me and said. They decided to tell me that I was not black, I was white, right? I would look at the person like they're crazy. Because obviously, you can look at me and you can tell I'm black, I'm not white, right? Obviously. But not only that, but I know in myself that I'm black and I'm not white. So if you're telling me something that I know about myself, then obviously your opinion of me being white isn't going to move me, isn't going to affect me, isn't going me to start questioning whether or not I'm actually black, right? Because I'm so convicted in my skin color and in who I am, right? But the fact that the opinion of the person doesn't really affect me isn't only a matter of me actually objectively being black. It is because I'm so convicted in my skin color. I don't want this to go over you guys' heads, right? The fact that I'm not moved based on that person's opinion of me being white is because I'm so convicted in me actually being black, right? It is part of quote unquote my identity. I have lived my life, all of my life, knowing that I'm black. You see what I'm saying? That is how convicted you have to be in who you are and who you decide to be in order for you to stop living your life in reference to opinions of others. And in order for you to stop allowing how you feel about yourself to be dictated by other people, you have to become convicted in who you are and who you decide to be. You have to make it a fact. You have to tell yourself over and over and over and over again until it becomes a fact, until the opinions of other people don't move you because you're so deeply convicted. That is how rooted in who you are you have to be. See, when it comes on to this life, my good people, right? You are either going to live by your own convictions or you're going to live by the definitions that people give to you or people try to give to you. Those are the only two choices that you have. Either you become rooted in your own conviction or you continue to live your life in reference to the opinions of other people, right? But there's no way around it. Oh shit, why this guy looking at me like that? It's a squirrel. There's no way around it. There's no way around it. Like you can't sit in two chairs at the same time. You can't know who you are, but yet continue to live by the opinions of other people. You can't know who you are, but yet continue to allow other people to define you. You have to sit in one chair. And sitting in one chair means that you have to decide who you are and who you want to be. And you have to continue to live your life based on your own definitions. Live your life based on your own self perception. There's no way around it. And it's not something that you do one day and you don't have to do it the other day. It's something that you have to do over and over and over and over again. Every day that you wake up, you have to keep telling yourself who you want to be. And you have to keep telling yourself or continue to become convicted in your own self perception. It's not something that you just do one day, it's something that you have to do every single day, right? Because there are so many forces in this world that want you to not only question who you are, but who want you to continue to hate yourself and dislike yourself, right? Because, like I said in a previous video that I made last night, I said that if people can allow you to question yourself, they can easily control you. If someone can keep telling you who you are and you continue to live by their definition, you are easily controlled. You become a puppet to their words and their actions, right? So reclaiming your self worth, reclaiming your life, living your life based on your own definition begins with you, first of all, knowing who you are, but deciding to choose a self perception of your own and choose a self definition of your own. There's no way around it. There is no way around it, right? So if you made it this far into the video, you have been living your life, first of all, not knowing who you are. Second of all, waiting for people to tell you who you need to be. And third of all, you have not chosen who you want to be. Those are the three mistakes you've been making, which is causing you to not only have control of your own self-worth, but also not having control of your life. And so if you want your life to change, and if you want to step into your self-worth, and if you want to stop living your life revolving or surrounding the opinions of other people, you have to know yourself. But not only know yourself, you have to decide who you want to be and become convicted in your own self perception. You have to tell yourself day after day, day after day after day, to the point in which it becomes a fact. And when it becomes a fact subconsciously, once your subconscious mind accepts it as a fact, people can no longer move you off your square. People can no longer tell you who you are. People will no longer control your life because you're so convicted in who you are. You're so convicted in your own self perception. You're so fucked up of who you are to the point in which their words no longer move you. And that is the greatest place that you want to be at in life. You want to be so rooted in who you are, so rooted in self, so convicted in who you are, to the point in which the opinions of other people truly don't move you. That is the point you want to be at in life. And once you get to that point, the world becomes a beautiful place. Once you get to that point, how you feel about yourself isn't this thing that constantly fluctuates. Obviously, you're going to have days in which you don't feel your best, days in which you don't feel as confident. But how you feel about yourself becomes your own definition and becomes your choice. And it is the greatest place to be at in life. Once you quiet the noise from the outside world and you begin to listen to your own internal noise, if you want to call it that, once your self perception, your self validation, your self love becomes your own, you are in control of self and you are in control of your life. That is when your life truly blossoms. So stop allowing people to dictate how you feel about yourself. Begin to know who you are. Begin to become convicted on who you want to be and stand firm in it. Tell yourself day after day. Keep drilling it. And once you keep doing it over and over again, even in the presence of criticism and people belittling you, once you keep telling yourself over and over again who you are, who you want to be, and how you want to feel about yourself, it's going to become a fact. Take it from me. All right. I'm at a point in my life in which obviously I have my days in which I fall into the habit of questioning myself and something might happen, a person might do something to me. And I might fall into the habit of questioning myself, but I'm able to pick myself up. I'm able to pick myself up because I've done a lot of the work that is necessary for me to detach from the opinions of other people, right? So it is something that you have to do every single day because every single day you are under attack from this world. Every single day your self worth is under attack. And if your self worth isn't in your hands, it is always at risk of being affected by the world and by other people, right? So if you made it this far, thank you for being here with me. I had to make this video real quick because I have quite a lot of things to do. And I usually have my mic connected to here, but I guess I gotta get the part that's able to connect, which I don't have today. But thank you for being here with me. Thank you if you made it this far. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're taking care of yourselves. And I will see y'all in the next one. Peace and blessings.